Hello and welcome back to another video on SW Fight Hub. There's going to be no video scheduled for today, a little bit lighter on the boxing schedule this week. But I have been reading more and more over the last few days about the potential return of former two-division world champion Billy Joe Saunders. So I thought I'd come on here and just throw my 2 cents on a potential return for Billy Joe. So last time out, against Canelo Cinco de Mayo 2021, around about 4 years ago to the day. We all remember how that fight went. Saunders was doing okay in the fight at the time, to be fair. Canelo landed a perfect shot. I think it was a broken orbital or along the lines. It looked pretty nasty anyway, and Saunders was pulled out in the corner at that stage. It was a round 8 retirement it went down as. But I want to discuss what the motivation is for Billy Joe Saunders. Look, we saw him in the Eubank versus Ben build-up, didn't we? He was backstage trying to get through to Chris Eubank Jr., wrap his hands. He was sent by Team Ben. And he looked very, very heavy, if we're going to put it politely. Certainly didn't look in any shape to be making 175 pounds anytime soon. Look, September's 4 months away. Yes, he could put in a solid training camp and probably get there. It's given me shades of Tyson Fury. Maybe not quite on that scale when Fury ballooned up before he came back and won world championships. But yeah, look, Billy Joe for me, and if he does come back and proves me wrong, then that's fair enough. But it looks money motivation to me. The names that have been thrown out, Chris Eubank Jr. mentioned him as a potential future opponent. Obviously, Saunders has the win over Eubank Jr. He says his dreams to be a 3-weight world champion. You're looking at the belts at 175 right now, if that's the division he wants to campaign in. Obviously, Dimitri Bivol has every single belt right now. Oh no, sorry, he had to vacate, didn't he? So David Benavidez has the WBC. Beterbiev prior to that had them. So 3 to Bivol, 1 to Benavidez. He doesn't go anywhere near beating either of those two for me right now. And even the guys on the outside looking in who are very close, Morrell, Callum Smith, I know Yard hasn't looked great in his last few fights, but he's a lot more active than what Billy Joe's been. Billy Joe's not going to be a big 175, obviously he's put on a lot of weight and have to cut down, but he's fought a middleweight and he didn't look huge at 160 when he was fighting there. And plus he doesn't have an awful lot of power, does he, Billy Joe Saunders? So yeah, look, it's one of those, you look through the record and the run, especially that he had at 168, up until he fought Canelo. What's his best win at 168 even? His best win at 160, maybe Andy Lee when he won the belt, although he outboxed David Lemieux on the road and he was brilliant that night, to be fair to him. Best win at 168, Martin Murray. That's probably what you're looking at, really. So there's nothing there that tells me that Billy Joe can go on and do something big at 175. It looks like it's financial for me. Frank and George Warren are going to be the ones back in his career. I know he's with Matchroom for those last couple of fights anyway at 168. But yeah, let me know what you think, guys. For me, I just don't see it ending well personally, if I'm being completely honest. I know he made a lot of money for that Canelo fight at the AT&T Stadium in Texas. Enough money to probably never have to box again, hence why we haven't seen him, and he's blown up in weight. No need to see him back for me. Now go and enjoy your retirement, Billy Joe. You've had a good career. I don't see it ending well at 175. That division is a shark tank right now, both with skill and with guys who have got one-punch concussive knockout power. So look, it's a no from me. I'd be curious to know what you all think. As always, thanks for watching.